The Treasure of Sierra Madre is a 1948 American Western kind of noir film directed by John Huston, starring Humphrey Bogart, Walter Huston, John Huston's father, and Tim Holt. And indeed, it's that trio of men who, after meeting up, very almost destitute in a Mexican town, go off into the wilderness to mine for gold. There's a really good setup at the beginning of this of exactly how desperate the characters are, especially Humphrey Bogart playing Fred C. Dobbs, who has got to be kind of one of the great shits of American cinema. That's how Humphrey Bogart described his character when he bumped into a critic going out. It's like, wow, wait until you see my next picture. I get to play a complete shit in this picture. Um, he has a scene at the beginning where there is a little boy, apparently Roddy Dowell, is it Roddy Dowell in a baby, no, Robert Blake, as in a tiny scene at the beginning selling tickets, and as a Mexican boy, and he's pestering him, and Bogart's, Fred C. Dobbs says, get out of my face, or I'm going to throw this water at you. And the boy continues, and he throws the water in his face. And the boy, you can tell, is as desperate as Bogart is, because he persists and does sell him that ticket. And that's why he has the money for a stake to actually go into the wilderness and mine for gold. It is a three-hander between these three men: Fred C. Dobb, Walter Huston as Howard, kind of the old-timey prospector, the only one who's actually got any know-how and is kind of carrying these other two on his back, and Tim Holt as Bob Curtin, as just sort of a fellow destitute man. Sort of, it's a good balance of, like, it's not like, okay, it's not just the young guys who are assholes. It's like there's different levels of. They go into the wilderness, into this wilderness. They mine. They find gold. They actually do find gold. But I mean, the cool thing about this is just kind of the the reversals as they get kind of they realize exactly kind of like how crappy they are. Dobbs suspects Curtin of stealing his money, and like, because he's trying to pry up a rock. It's like, well, it's because there's a giant fucking lizard under the thing that I was going to get for meat. It's like, you're lying. It's like, well, if I'm lying, stick your hand under the thing. And he doesn't, and they pick up the rock, and then sure enough, there's the giant lizard. And Dobbs is like, oh, I was, what was I doing? But the great thing about this movie is that Bogart is not playing the hero of this. He's the protagonist of the film, but God, he is a man who gets just progressively worse and worse and worse. I mean, at one point, all three are going to kill this man and they find out, actually, after he's killed a different way, that he's got this family, he's got this wife, he's got this kid, that this was going to be the last thing, and that they was going to get back. And it's just like, oh, and it's like he died helping fend off bandits, but like a scene before this, they were going to kill him in cold blood, which is just like, it's just, and we have those flips each time. And this is a movie that has the very famous lines in it. What things? Let's see if I can get the here. Let's get. I'm, I have to get, it's the badges line. This is the thing that gets the lines about badges. But I want to actually get the line correct, or else I will also be doing that. Um, let's see if I can find ah the original. Okay, so so in the movie there's the novel version, and then there's the movie version. And I'm gonna, like, so in the movie it goes, Gold Hat, who is one of the band, is the head of the bandits. We are federales, the mounted police. And Dobbs, if you're the police, where are your badges? Badges? We ain't got no badges. We don't need no badges. I don't have to show you any stinking badges. That is, one of those lines that's funny, that just kind of echoes down through the time. Maybe not quite as not as much as this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship. And I mean, now it's probably actually seen maybe as a bit derogatory towards Mexican people. Though it's funny, at the time they had to really stay on the right side of Mexican authorities, because this is one of these first Hollywood movies that was actually filmed on location for a great parts of it. But this is got one of these got one of these great scripts to it. It's just the themes of kind of the selfishness of these men, but also kind of some of the actual kind of goodness of some of these men, but just the kind of the utter ruin and destruction of Bogart's Fred C. Dobbs. I mean, it is the absolute destruction of him. And just that end is just so, Dobbs' end is just so brutal and inconsequential and meaningless, and so meaningless, and unfortunately very fit for Dobbs. I mean, and it could have very easily have been the deaths of everybody in this thing. You do get that sense of, like, it is a hard world, and when people are looking out for their own interests, they can oftentimes not give a great goddamn for other people. Yet at the same time, there are people in there who, gonna find that peach farm and maybe find comfort a widow, and maybe that will be a good end to it. I don't know. Yeah. This, I can see why this is one of these, the Treasure of Srra Mdr. I've been watching a lot of older films, and I can see why this is probably one of the ones that, like, it lasts, it holds you. And I've got some more Humphrey Bogart movies on tap, but this is just like, wow, Humphrey Bogart was not afraid to play just such a terrible human being and be thrilled about that. Because I think, as an actor, he must have known, wow, this is going to be the thing that's really going to, may not be the top of the heap initially, but this is like, probably, I will not be surprised if this is like about the best I get to see someone like Humphrey Bogart play. All right. And yes, Walter Houston does a really good job as this grizzled old prospector. He's playing an actual uh, fellow who's seen a lot and has experienced that greed, and actually made it out the other side, and is actually kind of wiser, much wiser, and better for it. And Tim Holt is, probably the least of the three, but he's actually able to kind of project kind of a certain kind of a sensitivity, a certain kind of vulnerableness that you wouldn't maybe expect always in a man's movie. All right, I've been Jay. More videos later.